Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and I hope you all had an amazing and fun and relaxing holiday weekend. I know I did, but you guys know that I was eager to discuss the latest news that went down, and you already know that I have a lot of thoughts and opinions. So we all know that The Real Housewives of Potomac is currently filming season 9 right now. Pictures were leaked that they're on their cast trip, but there's about to be some drama with Keiarna Stewart, who is the official friend of the show. We were introduced to her last season, and she is now embroiled in a lawsuit with Ashley's raggedy friend, Miss Deborah, aka Sesame Street. So if you don't know, 2 weeks ago, TV Deets reported that Keiarna have filed a lawsuit against Deborah for $10 million. Now, if you don't know it, let me read you guys the article and then we'll move on from there. So on June 22nd, TV Deets drops the article, Keiarna Stewart sues Deborah Williams for assault and battery over RHOP Season 8 fight exclusive. Keiarna Stewart is suing Deborah Williams for assault and battery over their explosive fight featured on Season 8 of Bravo's RHOP. TV Deets can report exclusively. The lawsuit, which was filed in DC Superior Court in February 2024, expands on the altercation with Keiarna, alleging that Deborah had been making inflammatory comments all night about Candace Dillard Bassett's husband, Chris Bassett. According to the complaint, the ill will between the two continued throughout the evening, with Deborah allegedly picking up a heavy glass filled with a beverage and attempting to pour it on Candace's head, with the contents making their way to Keiarna. Keiarna Stewart is also alleging that the now empty glass hit her in the forehead, causing a serious laceration, with the two then engaging in an altercation that was eventually leaked to TV Deets and video, subsequently to TMZ. The fight itself was featured on Season 8 of the Bravo hit. According to the court documents, Keiarna had to receive stitches, now has a permanent scar, and is asking for $10 million in damages for the mental and physical anguish associated with the incident. She is also asking the court for a jury trial. Deborah, for her part, has pled not guilty and is denying all of the allegations made in the complaint. While Deborah Williams, who was introduced to Real Housewives of Potomac viewers as a friend of Ashley Darby, will not be featured on RHOP Season 9, Keiarna Stewart is returning as an official friend of the Housewives, and this lawsuit drama is expected to play out on the Bravo show when it returns later this year. So Miss Desperate Deborah said, "Oh no, girl, I'm going to file a counterclaim back." Deborah Williams files counterclaim against villain Keiarna Stewart in $10 million RHOP lawsuit. Exclusive details. Deborah Williams has filed a counterclaim against Keiarna Stewart in their ongoing and very shocking $10 million RHOP lawsuit, TV Deets has learned. According to court documents filed with the DC Superior Court earlier this week, Deborah is denying all charges and painting Keiarna as the true villain. It is obvious that counter-defendant Miss Keiarna Stewart craves fame. She craves attention, so much so that she is willing to do just about anything to have her name broadcast on television and across social media, reads the court filing, obtained exclusively by TV Deets. This includes instigating a fight, having that fight recorded, then sending the video of the fight to TMZ for it to be viewed on TV all over the world. In the counter-complaint, Deborah alleges that Keiarna orchestrated the events outlined in the original assault and battery complaint. In the reality drama she has brought before the court, Miss Stewart is not the victim. In fact, she's the villain, the court docs read. In the true story, Miss Stewart is not the protagonist, she's the antagonist. The facts will show that Miss Stewart, with her insatiable desire to be known, orchestrated all the events outlined in her own complaint and in this counter-complaint. In the end, the court will see, indeed, the country will see, that Miss Williams is the innocent party who has been severely damaged by Miss Stewart. Like the original complaint, Candace Dillard Bassett and Ashley Darby are mentioned because of their involvement in the shocking fight, which ended up airing as part of Season 8 of Bravo's RHOP. According to the document, Deborah ended up making guest appearances on the show after Ashley reached out to her and asked her to appear. Miss Williams agreed to appear on the show for one reason only, to support her friend, Ashley Darby, reads the paperwork filed by Deborah's attorneys. According to Deborah's version of events, Candace was taunting her on the night of Ashley and Giselle's GNA launch like Keiarna's original complaint. Deborah confirms that Candace was exchanging words with her the entire night before the fight erupted. Throughout this event, Miss Bassett's verbal attacks were exceptionally vicious towards Miss Williams, reads Deborah's counterclaim. The name-calling and instigation was abnormally excessive, seemingly intentionally provocative. Deborah is alleging that after exchanging words, Candace picked up a bottle of champagne as if to throw it at her, and at the same time, Keiarna escalated her defense of Candace, punching Deborah square in the face. According to the counterclaim, Deborah had never met Keiarna before the night in question and doesn't understand her involvement in the first place. Interestingly enough, Deborah's attorneys are also accusing the parties involved of staging the entire incident, pointing out that while Bravo cameras were reportedly down at the time of the incident, someone at the party was able to record the entire fight and leak it to TMZ. That said, she is seemingly not outed the person she feels may be responsible for setting up the fight yet. While Keiarna is seeking a shocking $10 million in the case, Deborah is being slightly more reasonable with her counterclaim. According to the docs, the RHOP guest star is looking for $3 million plus punitive damages plus interest and costs for the assault and battery, in response to count 1, assault and battery. When it comes to count 2, intentional infliction of emotional distress, Deborah is seeking a judgment in the amount of $3 million plus fees, but is also looking for $1 million in costs for defamation, totaling a cool $7 million, give or take. So first things first, Keiarna suing Deborah for $10 million, I am here for it. I think that she deserves to get financial compensation for what she went through. Now, I don't care if you think that, oh my gosh, that's a lot to ask for, $10 million. That's really not the point. The point is, if somebody harms you, if somebody has put you in a position where you could have lost your life, because let's be honest, that whole entire fight could have gone a different way. Thank God that all that happened to Keiarna was that she had to go and get stitches. What if things had been worse? So thank God she's okay, but it could have easily taken a turn had that piece of glass really punctured into her forehead. And I don't mean to be so morbid, but people need to think before they put their hands on somebody and try to throw objects at them. Deborah took things too far, so I'm glad that Keiarna is suing. I feel like Candace should sue Deborah too, if I'm being honest. Now, I'm excited and I'm curious to see how this plays out on the show. We already know that Keiarna called out Ashley at that reunion. Ashley got defensive. We saw Ashley after the season wrap. She was on TikTok and Instagram making excuses because one thing about Ashley Darby, Ashley will never take accountability or ownership for anything that she does. And I don't care what anybody says, I still believe deep down in my soul that Ashley was the one who set this entire thing up. Because it's not lost on me that the minute the cameras went down, we still hear Ashley in the mic talking about, oh, okay, are the cameras down? And then she goes over to Deborah, and then the next thing you know, Deborah's walking over to Candace in her face, harassing her. That was a setup by Ashley and Deborah. And the whole plan backfired, so now they want to scramble and act like, oh no, we didn't do anything, we're innocent. Ashley's talking about, oh, I would never set something up like that. Girl, yes you would, because I will always maintain that Ashley Darby is the most diabolical person on that cast. Now, Miss Deborah, I need you to sit your raggedy self down while I read you, because you tried it. The audacity and the gall for you to make a counterclaim, but not only that, you're asking for $7 million, and on top of that, you have the nerve to say that Keiarna is the one desperate for fame. How was Keiarna desperate when she was actually an official friend of the show while you made a few guest appearances, didn't even get paid? If anything, you got paid in craft services and maybe you got a $25 gas card at the most. I'll be nice and say that maybe Bravo paid you the day rate, if that. But for you to say that Keiarna is thirsty and desperate and only doing this for fame, when she's on the show and you're not on the show, you're delusional.
You not fab like that to be doing all of that. Learn your place, earn your spot.
When we were introduced to you in season 7, we were all like, please get this girl off of our screens. She's thirsty as anything. You tried to have a moment all throughout season 7. Candace denied you. She said, I don't want to talk to you. Get out of my face. I don't know you. Bye, Sesame Street. But you want to say that somebody else is thirsty. Deborah, I hope you know that you're not winning this case. So if I were you, I would save the last bit of money that I do have, and I would drop this case, and I would give Keiarna whatever she wanted. Because you look really dumb paying lawyers with money that you probably don't have for a case that you're about to lose. And it's really sad how deep the lies go, because you're trying to lie to us like we did not watch what we saw just a few months ago. We saw how it played out. An absolute embarrassment that you want to throw out claims that Candace and Keiarna were the aggressors when they weren't paying you any mind. Deborah, you're a clown, and the way I can't wait to report back when you lose this case, because absolutely not. You're not going to sit up here, pee on our legs, and tell us that it's raining. We saw the footage, and the footage showed that it was all your fault. Best believe there's about to be some friction between Keiarna and Ashley. Ashley is going to feel a type of way that Keiarna is suing her friend. And even though Ashley said last season that she put her friendship on pause with Deborah, I don't believe it. I think that Ashley and Deborah still talk, still hang out, but Ashley only said that because she was going through a PR nightmare. And her publicist probably advised her to distance herself from Deborah for a few months, but best believe Ashley's messy. She likes to surround herself with messy people. So her and Deborah probably talk on the phone all the time. But Keiarna, we're all rooting for you, and the way I'm going to pop the biggest bottle of champagne when it comes in your favor that you won.
Strawberry and champagne. Hold on, let me get a strawberry. Let me get a strawberry. I love it. Drop it in my drink.
So this next story, I'm like, my goodness, when it rains, it pours. Because we know that Miss Kenya Moore has been going through it for these last several weeks. So as if things could not get worse, reports came out over the weekend that Sally's Beauty will no longer be carrying Kenya Moore hair care at their stores. So I'm just like, are you serious right now? Now again, this is all alleged. We don't know for sure. I don't know what to believe, y'all. But let me read you guys the article. So this is from Reality Blurb. Kenya Moore hair care line getting discontinued at Sally Beauty amid revenge allegations as alleged staff email is leaked. Plus, Brittany Eadie likes the news. Kenya Moore hair care is reportedly getting discontinued at Sally Beauty amid revenge P allegations against the Real Housewives of Atlanta star newbie Brittany Eadie. An alleged staff email was also leaked telling Sally Beauty employees how to respond when asked about the controversy. Meanwhile, Kenya denies the allegations. The subject of the alleged email is Kenya Moore Hair Care Customer Concerns. If your store receives customer concerns about recent publicity surrounding Kenya Moore, then associates should respond with the following statement, said the alleged email via Bravo Snark's site on Instagram. Kenya Moore Hair Care is being discontinued at all Sally locations in stores and online. This means Kenya Moore products are no longer being restocked. We expect these products will be unavailable by the end of 2024. This was part of a larger business decision made earlier this year. If pressed, the associate can respond with the following. 1. On Kenya's alleged action, Sally Beauty does not condone the actions for which Kenya Moore is reportedly accused, the alleged email continued. 2, on the discontinuation of products due to the allegations, Kenya Moore Hair Care was scheduled to be discontinued in stores and online prior to the recent publicity surrounding Kenya Moore. Britney also had a shady reaction to the news as she liked the post shared by the Neighborhood Talk about Kenya's products allegedly being discontinued at Sally's. Regardless of all these reports, let this be a cautionary tale to think before you react. Sometimes you have to let people think that they've won. I really wish that Kenya did not react the way that she did, because her making such a rash decision has affected her greatly. She is no longer on the show. And you can say what you want, but that is a huge bag to fumble. Kenya was making, I think, $1 million or $1.5 million for only 3 to 4 months of work. And now that salary is gone. And you can say what you want, but I think that a lot of us would be upset if we ruin that sort of bag, especially when that's the bulk of your income. And I know that Kenya keeps denying it, saying that I didn't do that, these are all lies. But obviously, Kenya did something that was deemed too far. And whatever it is, it cost her greatly. I really feel bad for Kenya because she worked really hard while she was on the show to build her brand. And to go out like this, and she has a daughter now, that's devastating, and that has to be scary. I really feel bad because whatever Kenya did, she did not think this through. And don't forget, Kenya's hairline is also in CVS. So if this news is true about Sally Beauty pulling her stuff off the shelves, what if CVS says, okay, we don't want to deal with this, so you're going to be off of our shelves too? What if this affects her hair spa? What if people don't go to her spa? Like, you just have to think before you do stuff. There could easily be a ripple effect that affects her pockets greatly. And I hope that's not the case, because I do want Kenya to win. I want her to succeed. And it would really be a shame to have gone through all that she's gone through to go out like this. I've heard the rumors about the producers should be blamed and fired because allegedly they set Kenya up with the pictures of Britney and told her to do it. So if that is the case, then they need to be fired, because that's really crazy that they told her to do this and now she's off the show and they're still there. That's almost like they sabotaged her. But either way, it never pays to act without thinking. And I'm really praying that Kenya is not gravely affected financially due to this bad decision. Now, this last story, I have so many thoughts about this, because I felt like things could have gone a lot differently. But if you don't know, TGIF has been canceled. Now, if you watched TGIF in the early days, it was Claudia Jordan, Al Reynolds, and Funky Dineva. And then at the top of this year, Funky Dineva left because he wanted more money. I'm going to say this, despite how I have felt about some of Funky Dineva's viewpoints about certain topics, I will never deny that Funky Dineva is funny, witty, intelligent, and I thought that he was a great fit for TGIF. I love the banter between him and Claudia, him and Al Reynolds. He would always joke and shade them, and his humor really kept the show going, right? The chemistry between the three of them was undeniable. I always felt like Fox Soul should have paid Funky whatever he wanted, because again, I really felt like he was the glue of the show. So fast forward, Armand Wiggins, another big time YouTuber who I also enjoy watching. He's also funny, very witty. I love how he gets all the rap girlies together. He's always whacking them and I live for it. But Armand Wiggins replaced Funky Dineva, and you could tell that the tension between everybody was a bit much. I was just like, well, damn, like, what's the beef between Armand and Claudia? You could just feel that subtle shade. As you all saw a few weeks ago, it was Al Reynolds' birthday, and Claudia and Armand gave a roast. Armand's roast was so wild and so, I mean, baby, that wasn't even a roast. Armand took out a bazooka and completely obliterated Al. You could tell that Al's feelings were hurt. Claudia was shocked. And the roast was so crazy that TGIF took that episode down. So you can't even find the roast anywhere. You have to go on other YouTubers' channels to watch the roast. But I say all that to say, after that roast, we got the announcement that the show would be put on pause. They were going on hiatus, going on vacation, and they would resume in July. Well, honey, we got the news a few days ago that the show is not coming back. They all said, shout out to everybody. We have fun, but that's it. That's all.
Oh! Shout out to everybody. I had fun.
I gotta be good.
And I know that a lot of people feel like Armand's roast is what brought on this cancellation. But if you've been watching Claudia give interviews, she has said that that was not the reason for the cancellation. They were already having issues with Al not liking Claudia, them being at odds, the chemistry being off for a long time. Honestly, I feel like Armand's roast was what put them over the edge, and they couldn't come back from that. Now, I'm sad to see this show be canceled. I always enjoyed the jokes and the banter, and I did feel like Armand Wiggins was a good addition to the show. He's definitely similar to Funky Dineva in the way that he reads and roasts. But I do think that it's shameful that they were unable to put their issues aside just for an hour a day, because they were making $1,000 an episode. And the fact that the tension was so thick between all of them that they were unable to put that aside, and now the show is canceled, I think it's very shameful. For that kind of money, for that little bit of work, I could honestly get along with anybody. And it's not like you even have to be in front of each other's faces. You're in your own home. And while everybody keeps blaming Claudia and Armand, I feel like Al Reynolds is really to blame, because finding out that he was saying things behind Claudia's back, he was having issues with her, he's going to HR, I feel like he's the problem. Because how can you turn on somebody who was your friend, who got you a nice job making $250,000 a year by doing very little work? That's the dream job. I have always viewed Al Reynolds as a grifter, a leech, a user, and a social climber. But I don't like how people keep blaming Claudia and Armand. I really think that the true culprit here is Al Reynolds. Now, what I will say is, when Armand Wiggins drops his video discussing all of this, I will be seated, because I can't wait to hear his side of how things went down and why he thinks that the show got canceled. Now, before I forget, in Summer House Martha's Vineyard news, Amir Lancaster has proposed to his girlfriend, Natalie Morales, and they are engaged now. Now, I don't have too much to say other than I know Amir is pissed that the show is put on pause and that the Bravo cameras aren't there to record all this, because I know he just knew in his heart that they would be getting a spin-off together, and Bravo's just like, yeah, no, we don't really care that much. But congratulations to the happy couple, and that's all I've got. Bravo, if you're watching this, do the right thing and bring Summer House Martha's Vineyard back for season 3. Give them one more chance, because I honestly feel as if they didn't get a fair shake. They were barely promoted, and if we had a few cast changes, the show could be perfect. But don't bring Amir back, because he did say in an interview that he would not return unless Natalie could be there as a full-time house guest, and I don't think so. But y'all, that's what's happening in these Bravo and Fox Soul / YouTube streets. And I will continue to keep my ears out for all the latest. Don't forget that The Real Housewives of Orange County Season 18 premiere is this Thursday night. Y'all better be seated, because this season is about to be everything and then some. Miss Shannon Storms Bador is about to carry this season on her back, okay? So I cannot wait for that. I will be reviewing OC, because the OC girls are some of my favorites. But y'all, that was my video. I hope you all enjoy. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.